The salvage scout ship lurched violently as another piece of ancient debris slammed into its hull. Marcus Chin gripped the controls with white knuckles, his 19-year-old face illuminated by flashing red warning lights. The navigation system screamed at him in 3 different languages, all saying the same thing. Catastrophic failure imminent. Come on, Marcus muttered, fighting to keep the nose up through the cracked viewport. He could see the planet below, a swirling mass of purple clouds and jagged mountain ranges. Draconis 7, the Forbidden World. Of all the places to crash, it had to be here. The ship hit the atmosphere like a stone skipping across water. Heat washed over the hull as friction turned the vessel into a screaming fireball. Marcus pulled every trick he knew, but gravity had already won this fight. The ground rushed up to meet him, a canyon system carved into red rock that glowed faintly in the dim light of the system's distant star. Impact came hard and fast. The ship plowed through crystalline formations that shattered like glass, each collision throwing Marcus against his restraints. Metal shrieked and tore. Then, finally, silence. Marcus hung in his seat, breathing hard. His ribs ached and something warm trickled down his forehead, but he was alive. He unbuckled with shaking hands and stumbled to the emergency exit. The hatch groaned open, and he stepped onto alien soil for the first time. The air hit him immediately, breathable, slightly metallic, with an electric quality that made his hair stand on end. The canyon stretched in both directions, its walls embedded with massive crystal structures that pulsed with a faint inner light. Above, the purple skies swirled with clouds that moved in patterns that seemed almost deliberate. Marcus pulled out his scanner and checked the ship's status. The news was bad. The distress beacon had been destroyed in the crash, and the communication array was fried beyond repair. He was stranded on a quarantine planet, alone, with no way to call for help. Perfect, he said to the empty air. Just perfect. He knew the stories about Draconis 7. Every salvager did. This was where the last dragons lived. Creatures a myth that the Galactic Council had declared off-limits to all contact. Interfering with them meant life imprisonment or worse. But the alternative was dying here alone, and Marcus had survived too much already to give up now. He gathered what supplies he could carry: water purification tablets, emergency rations, a basic medkit, and his scanner. The canyon seemed as good a direction as any. Maybe he could find materials to repair the beacon. Maybe he could find shelter. Maybe he could figure out how to survive until someone noticed his ship was missing. The walk was surreal. The crystal formations grew larger as he ventured deeper into the canyon, some towering over him like frozen trees. His scanner kept picking up strange energy readings, quantum signatures that fluctuated in patterns he had never seen before. The deeper he went, the stronger the signals became. After an hour of walking, Marcus heard it, a sound that was not quite a voice, more like a feeling pressed directly into his mind. Help, please, anyone. He froze. Scanner held out like a weapon. Hello. His voice echoed off the canyon walls. The feeling came again, weaker this time. So cold, so alone, against every instinct screaming at him to turn back. Marcus followed the sensation. It led him to a massive cavern entrance, partially hidden behind a curtain of smaller crystals. Inside, the darkness seemed to pulse with that same quantum energy his scanner had been tracking. He activated his helmet light and stepped inside. The beam cut through the shadows, revealing what looked like enormous bones half embedded in the cavern walls. Dragon remains, fossilized and ancient, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all facing toward the center of the chamber. And there, beneath the collapse of massive crystalline pillars, he saw it, a dragon, alive. The creature was enormous, easily 20 meters from snout to tail. Its scales were gold, shimmering with an iridescent quality, even covered in dust and dried blood. One wing was bent at an unnatural angle. Dark wounds covered its body, oozing with something that looked less like blood and more like liquid shadow. The dragon's eye opened, huge and ancient and filled with pain. It focused on Marcus with an intelligence that made him feel suddenly very small. Please, the voice whispered in his mind, barely more than a breath. Please don't leave me alone. Marcus stood at the edge of the light, looking at the dying dragon, and knew his life had just changed forever. Marcus took a cautious step forward, his boots crunching on broken crystal. The dragon's massive eye followed him, gold and amber swirling in its depths like a living sunset. Up close, the creature was even more magnificent and terrifying than he had imagined. Each scale was the size of his hand, and even dying, it radiated a power that made his skin tingle. "You can understand me?" Marcus asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The dragon's response came not as sound, but as thoughts pressed gently into his mind. "Yes, human child. I am Aurelius. I have been here for 3 solar cycles. Alone. Dying. 9 months." Marcus felt his stomach twist. 9 months trapped under these pillars, slowly fading away in the dark. He looked at the wounds covering the dragon's body. The darkness oozing from them seemed to move with a life of its own, creeping slowly across golden scales like oil on water. "What happened to you?" Marcus moved closer, despite every survival instinct telling him to run. The void swarm came. Aurelius's mental voice was heavy with exhaustion. "Creatures from beyond normal space. They consume life, leave only emptiness. We fought them here, my kin and I. We lost. The dragons I closed briefly. They left their parasites inside me, eating. Always eating." Marcus pulled out his scanner and ran it over the nearest wound. The readings made no sense. The darkness showed up as negative energy, something that should not exist in normal space. It was spreading to the dragon's body like a cancer, consuming everything it touched. "I should go," Marcus said, but he did not move. "Humans are not supposed to be here. If the council finds out I made contact with you, they will lock me away forever." "Then go," the dragon said softly. "I understand. You have your own life, your own future. I am already dead. I just hope, before the end, to hear another voice, to not die completely alone in the darkness." Marcus looked at the magnificent creature, at the intelligence and sadness in that ancient eye. He thought about the Rigel colony, about watching it burn from his escape pod when he was 12. He thought about 7 years of living alone on salvage ships, talking to no one, trusting no one, because everyone he had ever cared about was dead. He knew what it felt like to be alone, to face death in silence. "I will stay," Marcus heard himself say, "at least for a while." The dragon's eye opened wider, surprise rippling through their mental connection. "You would do this? For me? A creature you do not know?" "No one should die alone," Marcus said simply. He dropped his pack and began setting up a small camp near the dragon's head. "Besides, my ship is wrecked. I am stuck here anyway. Might as well have company." Over the next hours, as Marcus shared his emergency rations and purified water that he carefully poured into the dragon's mouth, Aurelius told his story. The dragons had once been protectors of the galaxy, using their ability to manipulate quantum energy to defend against threats from beyond known space. But the Galactic Council had grown afraid of that power. They demanded the dragons teach them the secrets, turn their gifts into weapons. The dragons refused. They believed such power would corrupt those who wielded it without understanding. So the council declared them dangerous and quarantined their worlds. When the void swarm came, the dragons fought alone, and they fell one by one until only a few remained on worlds like this. "That is horrible," Marcus said, anger burning in his chest. "They left you to die because you would not give them power?" "They fear what they could not control," Aurelius said. "It is the way of governing bodies. Control or destroy." Marcus set up his small heating unit and made a simple meal. He ate half and offered the rest to Aurelius, though the dragon could barely swallow. They talked through the night, Marcus sharing his own story. The colony massacre, the years alone, the salvage work that kept him moving from place to place, never settling, never connecting. "You are like me," Aurelius observed, "alone by circumstance, not choice. The loneliness hurts, does it not?" "Every single day," Marcus admitted quietly. As the hours passed, Marcus noticed the darkness and the wounds spreading faster. It crawled up Aurelius's neck, reaching toward his head. The dragon's breathing became more labored, each exhale a rattling gasp. "How long do you have?" Marcus asked, though he dreaded the answer. "Days, perhaps. Hours, more likely." The dragon's mental voice was fading. "The parasites will reach my core soon. When they do, the end will come quickly." Marcus watched the darkness pulse and writhe in the wounds. Then he saw it clearly for the first time. The shadows were not just spreading, they were moving, deliberate, alive. The parasites were still active, still feeding, and they were accelerating. Marcus pressed the scanner against the nearest wound, watching the reading spike and fluctuate wildly. The darkness recoiled from the device's light, pulling back like something alive and aware. He had seen many things in his years as a salvager, but nothing like this. The parasites were not just organisms. They existed partially outside normal reality, feeding on life energy itself. "There has to be a way to remove them," Marcus said, studying the data. "Some kind of medical procedure or technology. Only dragon fire can destroy them," Aurelius explained, his mental voice weaker than before. "The quantum flames burn hot enough to erase them from existence. But I am too weak. I cannot generate the heat needed without killing myself in the process." Marcus paced back and forth, his mind racing through possibilities. What about medicine? Radiation? Something from my ship? Nothing in your human technology can touch them. They exist between dimensions. The dragon paused, and Marcus felt a wave of hesitation through their mental link. "There is one way, but it is forbidden, dangerous. You would likely die." "Tell me anyway," Marcus said firmly. "The resonance bond. A dragon can temporarily share their quantum core with another being. It would give you my abilities, the fire, the strength, the power to burn the parasites from my body." Aurelius's eye fixed on Marcus with intensity. "But human biology is not meant to hold dragon energy. It would burn through you like fire through paper. You would almost certainly die." Marcus stopped pacing. He looked at the magnificent creature slowly dying in front of him, at the spreading darkness that would soon consume everything. He thought about running back to his ship, hiding there until the end came. He could survive alone for weeks on his remaining supplies. The council might even rescue him eventually, but Aurelius would die alone, in the dark, after 9 months of waiting for anyone to find him. "How does it work?" Marcus asked quietly. "No," the dragon said with surprising force. "I will not ask this of you. You are young. You have life ahead of you. I am already dead. Do not throw away your future for a creature you met yesterday. You are not asking. I am offering." Marcus knelt beside the dragon's massive head. "You said it yourself. We are the same. Alone because the universe is cruel, not because we want to be. You did not leave yourself to die quietly. You called out, hoping someone would hear. Well, I heard you, and I will not leave you alone now." The dragon's eye glistened with something that might have been tears. "Why? Why would you risk everything for me?" "Because someone should," Marcus said simply. "Because it is the right thing to do. And because if I walk away now, I will be alone for the rest of my life, and I will deserve it." A long silence stretched between them. Marcus could feel Aurelius's emotions through their connection, gratitude, fear, and a desperate hope that the dragon was trying to suppress. "Very well," Aurelius finally said. "But know this, Marcus-chun. If you survive, you will be changed forever. The bond will mark you. The council will hunt you. Your life as you knew it will end." "My life ended when I was 12 years old," Marcus replied. "Maybe it is time to start a new one." Aurelius instructed him on the ritual. Marcus had to place both hands on the dragon's chest, directly over where the quantum core pulsed with fading light. Aurelius would channel his energy through that connection, flooding Marcus's body with power meant for a creature 100 times the size. Marcus positioned himself, his hands trembling slightly as they touched the warm scales. He could feel the energy humming beneath them, vast and ancient and terrifying. "I am ready," he said, though his heart hammered in his chest. "Remember," the dragon said gently, "if the pain becomes too much, break contact. I would rather die alone than watch you burn." "Not happening," Marcus said. "We both survive or neither of us does." "Then let us begin." The energy hit Marcus like lightning. His body convulsed as quantum power flooded through his nervous system. Every cell screamed in protest, as they were forced to contain energy they were never designed to hold. His eyes burst into golden light. His veins glowed beneath his skin like rivers of molten gold. Marcus saw visions, soaring through nebulae on dragon wings, the fall of civilizations, the birth of stars. He experienced Aurelius's memories, thousands of years compressed into seconds. The pain was beyond anything he had imagined. His body was tearing itself apart and rebuilding simultaneously. But he did not let go. Through the agony, he held on, and slowly, impossibly, his hands began to burn with dragon fire. Golden flames erupted from Marcus's hands, casting dancing shadows across the cavern walls. He moved on instinct, pressing the fire against Aurelius's wounds. The parasites shrieked, not with sound, but with psychic screams that tore through both their minds. The darkness writhed and twisted, trying to escape the quantum flames, but Marcus held steady. Each parasite burned away like mist in sunlight, leaving clean scales beneath. Marcus worked methodically, moving from wound to wound despite the agony coursing through his body. His skin felt like it was being flayed from the inside. His bones felt like molten metal. But he continued, because stopping meant Aurelius would die. The largest wound was near the dragon's heart, where a massive parasite had burrowed deep. Marcus placed both burning hands directly over it and pushed all his borrowed power into that single point. The parasite fought back, sending tendrils of darkness up his arms. Marcus screamed but did not pull away. The dragon fire intensified, blazing white-hot, and finally the parasite dissolved into nothing. It was done. The last of the darkness was gone. Marcus stumbled backward, his legs giving out. He collapsed onto the cavern floor, gasping for air. The golden light faded from his eyes, but the fire continued burning inside him, consuming him from within. His vision blurred. His heartbeat was irregular, missing beats, and then racing wildly. Marcus. Aurelius's voice thundered in his mind, no longer weak. The dragon tried to move, but the pillars still held him trapped. The bond, it is killing you. Your body cannot contain the energy. Marcus tried to respond, but could only cough. Blood speckled his lips. He could feel his cells breaking down, unable to sustain the quantum power flooding through them. The very gift that had saved Aurelius was now destroying him. The dragon's massive foreclaw broke, free from the rubble, with a crack of shattering crystal. Aurelius reached out, gently cradling the dying human against the scales. The dragon began to sing, a deep, mournful sound that resonated through the cavern. It was a death song, the eulogy dragons sang for fallen warriors. "No," Marcus whispered. "Do not sing for me yet. I must sever the bond," Aurelius said, his mental voice heavy with grief. "It is the only way to stop the energy from killing you. But Marcus, you'll be changed, forever marked. You will carry a piece of my essence for the rest of your life." "Do it," Marcus managed to say. "Rather be changed than dead." Aurelius began the severance ritual, pulling back the quantum energy. But as he did, something impossible happened. Marcus's body, pushed beyond all human limits, began to adapt. His cells, forced to contain dragon energy, started learning how to harmonize with it instead of being destroyed by it. It was the same trait that had allowed humanity to survive extinction events, to thrive in environments that should have killed them, to spread across the galaxy when other species said it was impossible. Human adaptability, working at a cellular level, performing a miracle. The burning pain began to fade, replaced by a warm glow. Marcus's heartbeat steadied. His vision cleared. He sat up, staring at his hands in wonder. Golden patterns traced across his skin like temporary tattoos, fading slowly but not entirely disappearing. His eyes, when he caught his reflection in a crystal surface, had changed. The brown was still there, but flecked with permanent gold. What happened?" Marcus asked aloud. "You adapted," Aurelius said, wonder in his mental voice. "Your species' greatest gift. You harmonize with the dragon essence instead of being consumed by it. You are something new, Marcus Chun, neither human nor dragon, but a bridge between both." Marcus stood, testing his body. He felt stronger, faster. When he concentrated, small flames danced across his fingertips. And most remarkable of all, he could still feel Aurelius in his mind, a permanent connection, warm and comforting. "I can still hear you," Marcus said with amazement. "And I you," the dragon replied. "We are bonded now, truly bonded, the first of our kinds to share such a connection." Marcus moved to help shift the pillars off Aurelius. With his new strength, he could actually move the massive crystal structures. Together, they worked to free the dragon completely. Aurelius stretched his wings for the first time in 9 months, golden scales gleaming in the dim light. Then the cavern shook. Both of them looked up as a massive energy discharge pulsed through the air. The ritual had released detectable quantum signatures. "Ships are entering orbit," Aurelius said, his mental voice tense. "Council enforcement. They detected our bond." Marcus felt it too, through their connection, but there was something else. Something wrong. The sky above was tearing open, and through the rift, darkness was pouring in. Not the small parasites that had infected Aurelius, but something far worse. The void swarm had returned. The portal in the sky expanded like a wound in reality itself. Through it poured creatures of living shadow, thousands upon thousands of them, descending on Draconis 7, like a plague of locusts made from darkness. Marcus could see the council ships in orbit, their weapons firing desperately. But the parasites simply absorbed the energy blasts and grew larger. "They are here because of us," Aurelius said, spreading his wings protectively over Marcus. "The quantum energy we released drew them like blood draws predators." Marcus watched 3 council ships explode in silent blooms of fire. Escape pods launched frantically, but the parasites swarmed them before they could reach the surface. His hands clenched into fists as golden fire sparked across his knuckles. "Then we fight," Marcus said simply. A shuttle crashed nearby, plowing through crystal formations. Marcus ran toward it, Aurelius bounding beside him with renewed strength. The shuttle's door was jammed. Marcus grabbed it and pulled, his enhanced strength tearing the metal open like paper. Inside, a dozen council soldiers stumbled out, led by a tall Atrixian woman, with forearms and battle scars across her blue skin. She took one look at Marcus's glowing eyes and Aurelius beside him, and her weapons came up instantly. "Illegal contact with protected species," she barked. "You are under arrest, human." "Commander Vex, look up," one of her soldiers shouted. The sky was black with parasites now, descending in a wave of hungry darkness. The first ones hit the ground 100 meters away, immediately hunting for life energy to consume. A soldier screamed as darkness wrapped around him, draining the light from his eyes in seconds. "Arrest me later," Marcus said, flames building in his palms. "Survive now." He did not wait for permission. Marcus ran toward the attacking parasites, unleashing dragon fire in sweeping arcs. The creatures shrieked and dissolved where the flames touched them. Aurelius roared beside him, his own quantum fire blazing in a torrent that turned night into day. Commander Vex hesitated only a moment before making her choice. "All units, support the human and the dragon. Fight or die." The battle became chaos. Council soldiers fired their weapons while Marcus and Aurelius carved through the swarm with fire and claw. The bond between them created something extraordinary. When Marcus attacked, Aurelius could feel his intentions and support him perfectly. When the dragon needed to rest, Marcus covered him with precisely placed flame strikes. But there were too many. For every 10 parasites they destroyed, 20 more poured through the portal. The hive ship itself began emerging from the rift, a massive thing of twisted geometry that hurt to look at directly. "We cannot win this," Vex shouted, firing all 4 of her weapons simultaneously. "There are too many." Marcus felt it then, through his connection with Aurelius, the dragon's realization. "They are drawn to quantum energy," Marcus said aloud. "You are like a beacon to them. That is why they keep coming." "Then I must leave," Aurelius said through their bond. "Draw them away from here while you escape." "No." Marcus looked at the canyon around them, at the massive crystal formations pulsing with faint light. "These crystals, were they?" "The cores of my ancestors," Aurelius replied. "Fossilized remains of their quantum hearts. But they have been dead for centuries." "They are not dead," Marcus interrupted, placing his hand on the nearest crystal. Through the bond, he could feel it. Faint energy, sleeping but not gone. They are just waiting. Aurelius, what if we wake them? The dragon's eyes widened. The entire planet would become a weapon. The energy release could destroy the swarm, but the feedback could kill us both. Marcus looked at the dying soldiers, at Commander Vex fighting desperately to protect her people, at the endless darkness pouring from the sky. He thought about dying alone in his crashed ship, or dying here trying to save others. The choice was obvious. Then we died together, Marcus said. No one alone in the dark. Not anymore. Aurelius lowered his massive head until his eyes were level with Marcus's. You are certain? I have never been more certain of anything. The dragon placed his foreclaw over Marcus's heart. Then let us show them what happens when dragon and human truly unite. The energy built slowly at first. Marcus channeled his borrowed dragon essence through his connection with Aurelius, and the dragon channeled it into the crystals beneath their feet. The fossilized cores began to glow brighter and brighter. The light spread to the canyon system like roots through soil, connecting every crystal on the planet. The ground trembled. Ancient power, sleeping for centuries, awakened.